Hey guys, thank you again for joining us. My name is Daniel, and I'm with Constantine Media. We're here with Varsity Media at DreamHack Dallas, and I'm actually here with Longhorn Gaming. I'm going to let these guys introduce themselves. They are actually now the current executives for Longhorn Gaming, which is a collegiate esports and gaming organization within the University of Texas. I was going to say streaming as well, but technically gaming is the overall umbrella. So you guys introduce yourselves to our audience.
Yeah, I'm Austin Espinoza, Ace SB Online. I'm the president of Longhorn Gaming at the University of Texas at Austin.
Hey, I'm Ahir Chatterjee. I also go by Crusher Cake, and I'm the internal director for Longhorn Gaming and the League of Legends game head.
All right, guys. Thank you for stopping by. I really appreciate it. I know these guys are going to have to go in about 10 to 20 minutes to another panel, but we'll be able to get in as many questions as we can. So tell us about Longhorn Gaming. How did it all start, and where are we at now? How has it evolved up to this point?
Yeah, Longhorn Gaming is actually probably one of like the oldest collegiate esports / gaming organizations in the country. We're founded by a couple brothers tackling the esports industry before it got as big as it is today. That was known as Tespa. Now it's a international, I believe in Canada, system. Basically, like sort of like a Greek, part of like copying the system of like what the Greek systems do.
Okay.
And now we have it for gaming. We ended up rebranding a couple years ago to Longhorn Gaming from Tespa, since Tespa, being named Tespa or keeping that name kind of gets a little confusing when there's like a national chapter system and then also like a student organization under the same name. Yeah. Since then, we've basically have been trying to revive ourselves. We've been really in a drought for the past couple years once the rebranding first initialized. Tespa kind of left us in a weird state where we weren't exactly sure what we were as an org.
Why is that? What happened?
We had a little bit of problems financially. They left a big hole basically after that administration kind of left the student organization. And the next couple of presidents and student faculty that came in trying to help us sustain that still large player base didn't really quite successfully continue what Tespa first initialized.
Okay.
Yeah. And now we're trying to basically find those really just passionate gamers on top of like business savvy people that want to create like a student collegiate esports organization rather than just a student organization.
Okay, that makes sense. And then what do you guys, as you're transitioning into this now, what are some of the strategies that you're utilizing in order to kind of create that transition and to be able to train the right sort of executives to be able to, I guess, hand over power to the next generation as that goes on?
Well, it's kind of cool that Tespa actually is putting out a lot of resources for how to manage a successful collegiate program. That's very useful. We're actually jumping on that more like right now as we're going through this process of reviving. Also, we have a ton of nearby schools like UT Dallas, which is having like a really successful past couple years of being officially put as a like players.
A varsity program.
Yeah, a varsity program,
okay.
basically.
Gotcha.
Yeah, scholarships, all the benefits of basically what a football player would have. And that's like huge.
It's unheard of, yeah.
Yeah, it's huge. And there's only a few schools that are doing it at that high of a level and successfully as UT Dallas, UCI, and other schools like them. We're going to be looking at them, networking at events like DreamHack, trying to figure out what exactly they're doing successfully, and then bringing those successes to the faculty and staff that are interested in doing the same at UT Austin.
Are you guys doing it based off of certain metrics that you're seeing, or are you just kind of making the observation and then creating a proposal for the staff?
Right now, I feel like it's more of an observation, just speaking to the schools that have these programs that already are very, very successful, not only competitively, but just like, student population wise, how they're tackling, how they're basically getting membership numbers or at least social member numbers equal to ours when they're half the size or smaller student population of the university wise. But
that makes sense. So then, what do you guys see for the future of Longhorn Gaming? How do you guys see this changing? And are you thinking about developing a program where you guys are a varsity organization as well?
Right now, we're speaking with the director of student activities, and our basic idea for this upcoming semester, at the minimum, is to have a facility on campus for our competitive teams to play at and practice. We've had issues very recently, like basically a couple months ago, while playing in massive, very, very important tournaments. I think Ahir should give you a little bit more insight,
Let's hear it.
actually.
Yeah, so basically our League of Legends team, there was basically one day, there's this play-in event for the national championship where basically the top 8 teams in the entire nation are going to be flown out to LA to play.
At Riot Studios.
At Riot Studios, so it's a huge deal, and it's a really great publicity event. To give you an idea of it, UT Dallas actually, before they had a varsity program, they went to the Riot HQ for this event, and that's basically one of the biggest selling points they had to create their varsity program. So for us, this would have been huge, but one of the problems we faced was on that day, it was basically a best-of-1 series, so one game to decide everything.
Yeah.
And
There's 4 back-to-back-to-back best of ones against different other schools.
right.
Gotcha.
And it was a really stormy day, and a lot of our
Do
people
remember that day?
Yeah, really stormy day, terrible thunderstorms, and a lot of our players, they live in like West Campus at UT, and we're not playing on campus, so we don't have any like backup generators or anything like that. So if the power were to tragically go out,
That's it.
In the middle of a game, when the game already starts, the other team doesn't want to
Right.
Yeah,
reschedule.
of course.
Exactly. It's like, what can you do about it?
SOL.
Exactly. And that's exactly what happened. The power went out. We lost that game, and then for
Best luck next year.
exactly best of luck next year. So
And so,
very unfortunate.
yeah, I mean, so then you guys definitely need more stability is what you're looking at.
Exactly.
And you're hoping, does it have to be someplace that's on campus, or how does that?
So the idea is if that it's a place on campus, then you really have this kind of. It's not just like, we get that in that sorry out of luck kind of place. You kind of get that stability there, but you also kind of have like a meeting center and like a place where people can interact with each other. Because one thing we were facing this year, I'm kind of new to the scene. I'm actually a freshman. I was a freshman last year, but I'm kind of getting into it now. And one thing I noticed was that like we really don't have too many chances to interact with each other because as gamers, right, you're on your computers, and if you're playing from home, you never really get the chance to talk to your teammates and everything like that.
So you want to have more events that have a LAN aspect to it, where you guys can be in the same room and you're practicing as if you were a pro team, I assume.
Exactly. That's like one of the great things about events like DreamHack is they bring people together, right? And like it's the one thing we were talking to Jay Varrick, who's like one of the marketing managers here, and basically one of the things he said is he loves having this big open contiguous room because it really breaks down no walls between things, really brings people together. Like people are always playing within their own confined walls and everything like that at home. And bringing everyone together like that is just an amazing.
Well, it just gives a new experience because you're still doing that thing that you love, but you're able to then see everyone else that loves doing that same exact thing. You're no longer looking at a camera, or you're no longer looking at a screen, or you're not really. There's no separation.
Right.
You have that presence, so to speak.
It's
right?
face to face. Yeah, exactly.
Like we wouldn't be looking at each other, but like we're rubbing shoulders. rubbing elbows,
Yeah.
But also from just a competitive standpoint, like we have tough
You can talk
match.
smack across the screen.
Well, you just have really, really great synergy when you're in the same
Yes.
place, talking to each other, seeing your teammates' body language, and
Yeah.
trying to figure out what exactly they're feeling rather than just what they're saying.
Do you guys have coaches, or do you have just team leads?
Yeah, so we do have like for our different titles work a little differently, but we're trying to make that more like franchise model, or I guess more standardized across the realm. The league team itself has like spots for a coach and like 2 analysts basically.
Okay,
that's kind of how we run it. So yeah.
Cool. And then I'm assuming you guys also have subs and things like that.
Yes.
Exactly.
I think more officially, the bigger games like League of Legends, Overwatch, they have like their official like one sub spot for the bigger tournaments. But we're trying to branch out now so that every team has a coach or a team manager of some sort, and then that person can like distribute information to the rest of the org or handle PR things like that, and make things a lot easier. So there's not just one person for all the different games, and it gets a little tiring.
Right.
No, it definitely does. I mean, you have to manage people, you have to manage personalities, expectations. I mean, just kind of it starts to tumble.
Exactly.
And the larger you guys get, the more responsibility there is, the more pressure there is, the more expectation there is from, sponsors and things like that. So going back to the league stuff, So how many tournaments do you guys participate in? And if someone's on the team, do you guys play any tournaments where there is a monetary payout, or are students able to make money off of these tournaments?
Yeah, so basically there are like 3 big tournaments we play in. That's AVGL, so the American Video Game League. They're here at DreamHack too. There was a big tournament in the fall semester where you got to play at DreamHack Atlanta, I believe,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
It was DreamHack Atlanta. So our league team actually made it on stage there and got to play, which was awesome, to the
Awesome.
finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And since we're, obviously not from Atlanta, it's all expenses paid, flight and hotel for our team, and I believe the sub as well.
Yes,
and the
spot.
sub as well.
Yes, exactly. So that was really an awesome experience. So that was basically the payout. They got like headsets, I believe, as well, like HyperX or something like that. And so that was awesome. There's 2 other tournaments though. That's Collegiate Star League, which our
CSL,
CSL, which our junior varsity team plays in. And then there's the Riot sponsored league, which is Collegiate League of Legends League. I think it's rebranding to.
It's Collegiate League of Legends.
Okay, it's still Collegiate League of Legends. Okay, yeah. But yeah, that's the big payout. So basically, our
What's
league.
the payout?
Yeah, so our league team, they won the South this year, which is awesome. We finally beat like our rivals UT Dallas and won the South. That was awesome, and we won $56,000 in scholarships.
Yeah, that distributes $8,000 to the players and the sub, and then also
$4,000 to coach and $4,000 to the analyst.
yeah,
Wow.
to the 2 staff members.
Yeah.
That is great. So
Yeah.
do you guys get it? So is it possible to have it set up to where some of that money comes back to the org itself?
From what I understand right now, it's a scholarship directly to those players and analysts or
Can
faculty and
those
staff.
players be like, yo, bro, I got you. Here's 1,000.
I think the money goes to the players, and then they have discretion on it. It usually goes towards school and cost for that, but.
I know what tuition costs, man. Like you can help a brother out, $500
Yeah.
times 4, 5, I guess, $2,500. Like that'll buy a lot of calzones. I'm just saying. I just finished watching Parks and Rec, so calzones are like buried up here. Okay, so is there room for you guys to grow and create several different varsity teams? Let's say, are you able to have 2 different varsity teams within just league itself
So for league itself, you have 1 actual varsity team.
that represents that school?
That
so you
represents
can't,
the school.
okay,
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah.
That plays in, and we say that meaning that they play in the Riot sponsored tournament.
Yes.
That's the
Right.
most important.
I didn't actually talk about CSL,
Yeah.
the Collegiate Star League, which I actually played in. I was on the JV team for
Okay.
League of Legends last year. Last year. And basically the prize pool there is first place, I believe, gets flown out to live finals in New Jersey, and kind of blanking on the prize pool, but I think it was like $5,000 total if you won the whole thing. So really awesome event. We got top 6. We didn't right at the level we could have made $1,000, but let's not worry about that.
Yeah, that's fair. Always next year.
Yeah, next year.
Are there any other leagues or any other tournaments that if you guys did have more players that you could participate in?
So that's something we're trying to look into. A lot of it was just we were really focused on these specific leagues, and because we were kind of still, at least for me, I was kind of new. Like I was kind of managing the B team, the junior varsity team. I didn't really. I was just had my hands full, like learning all the new stuff. So
Going to school,
exactly,
in addition to
going to
everything else.
school,
Yeah,
freshman year, you know.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, and then how are team leads and things like that? How are you guys organized? Is it something that you elect someone, or is it based off of skill, or is it based off of hey, we elected the president gets to appoint? Like how's that system?
Previously, we've had a voting system for specifically the president, and then all of the directors that are going to be helping the president out are appointed by the president.
Okay.
I'm trying to change that. I want more, member participation.
Definitely.
And that basically coincides with a lot more membership incentives, and then just like socialization in general. I want them to feel a part of the club. But yes, they are basically appointed by the president. And they go through basically a job interview process, an application, and we try. I alongside like a couple of maybe like past directors, try to figure out who would be best and has most experience.
Okay.
And is most passionate mostly.
Yeah, I mean that's a big need. I mean it's the attitude for what you're doing. You have to have that certain kind of drive.
Exactly.
Because I mean, again, having graduated from the school, you have to put in a lot of hours to
Yeah.
do well.
Yeah.
And I mean, it doesn't really matter what your major is. You're going to have a very heavy workload. And in addition to that, you have other student orgs. You have
Definitely.
girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. you got a job potentially too. And then in addition to that, hey man, go manage these guys, and then go maybe win some money.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's pretty.
It's a pretty
Pretty
big
tall
workload.
order, yeah.
Exactly. For a lot of these guys.
And
So-
I just want to add on, like, it's really cool. I think nowadays that we have a lot of newcomers coming from high school that actually have experience. We have completely new, passionate people that we want to give opportunities
Yeah.
to. But like a hero over here, like just mention like where you're coming from as a freshman or now incoming sophomore.
Yeah, so I mean, I came from back in high school. I actually used to compete as well. Like, I was really passionate about it. I made like I made our high school like org. I tried to like make an esports org in high school.
Yeah.
So then that was a really cool experience. And as soon as I came into like Longhorn Gaming, I'm like, I know I want to do this. This is really where I want to go. So like tried out for the league team, and I was just really passionate about it.
Yeah.
So I got to be like the team manager, and I mean that's kind of how I got into where I am now.
But that's exactly what it needs to be. And that's the beautiful part about where esports is going. You have so many more events like this where people are able to come out, that are local to that area and see it and hang out. And then on top of that, you have schools like UTD that are creating scholarships. I've heard of other scholarships for people for streaming.
Oh,
Where,
yes.
it's
really?
like,
Yeah.
like, they're like, oh, hey, we'll give you
Yeah.
money to help out with this stream program.
I met the first qualified scholarship streamer. Basically, he's a pretty cool guy.
Braden Gilbert?
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's really talkative. Goes and finds people and tries to make something happen all the time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's an interesting dude. He's out of Austin as well. He was actually someone that I was speaking with when I was starting my business.
Oh, cool.
Because he lives in the neighborhood where I used to work.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Small world.
Yeah, and that's
Basically.
actually where I met another one of my employees. He came in looking to buy a house. I used to work at an HOA doing all the events. And a guy comes in, Assassin's Creed hat on. And I'm like, all right, hey, yeah, let me show you this thing out here so I can get out of the office so I'm not talking around everyone else, because this is when I was starting the business and I didn't want them to know what was going on. And I was like, hey, man, like, are you at all interested in video games? He's like, yeah, I'm actually an animator and I do video editing and, I'd really love to get into managing people. I was like, huh, want to work for me? The guy's like, yeah, that sounds great. Let's do that. I'm like, all right, cool. And then it was like 2 months later, it was the first DreamHack. With Cyber City, we were hanging out. We were actually with Austin Live and Local, which is another company owned by the owners of Cyber City. And so we were doing interviews there, and he was just like, dude, how did you get us press passes? I was like, it's time to go. Like, let's go make things happen.
Yeah.
And he was the guy who's like, he was taking videos and photos, and he actually ended up making it behind the stage. So last year, I don't know if you guys had a chance to go to DreamHack Austin.
Yeah.
But behind the stage, they had it to where you had that 2-tier system for the tournament for PUBG.
For PUBG, that was
And
really
he
cool.
was back there as they were setting it up. He was taking photos of like before and after, and he like that. Just those experiences are really cool, and that wasn't possible 3 years ago. Like,
Yeah.
the industry itself is evolving in such a way that you get all these really cool new opportunities, and I'm just really excited for you guys, just because you are from my alma mater. Like, you guys are doing some really cool stuff, and it's good to see you guys kind of go in that direction. Pac-12, can y'all talk about that at all?
I really don't know too much.
I mean, I know like basics, but not really. What are you hinting at?
I'm getting an image.
My question is,
Oh.
like, how
Off
long
screen.
until there's some validity to the esports at Longhorn and they're adopted into the Pac-12 system and have that kind of funding behind it in order to compete at a serious pro collegiate
That's a
level?
tough question, sir.
Yeah. I'm going to be here for one more year, and I basically want to set like a foundation for us to just like accelerate. I want us to just like have the people.
Who do you think is going to be elected for president after you?
Oh, I mean, it's kind of up to this guy over here and the couple of other freshmen that are still going to be around. I mean, maybe a here could take the horns, but we'll see. I really don't know. I'm just kind of excited to set.
Is there
everything up today.
anyone that you're kind of molding in that direction? Just because I asked that because it really momentum is one of the biggest takeaways from business for me, because I've opened up businesses and I've also shut down businesses.
Yeah.
Momentum is massive. And my question to you guys is, how can you keep that momentum going? Are you molding someone and prepping someone for a position so that you guys can keep going that direction?
I mean, honestly, I'm glad that you kind of mentioned this while he is here, because he and
Hey,
he alongside the other upcoming freshmen, or now sophomores, I'm gonna basically call y'all, is where it's going to be.
Okay.
He has been taking up all of these like vice president tasks,
Okay.
just like immediately and amazingly.
Dude, we're prepping you. You better be ready for this.
I mean, something I've been pushing for is that Austin, he's not just the president, but he is this god tier like creative guy. He's
Yeah,
like,
I was
makes these
creative director
amazing-
before.
Exactly.
Don't
And
be a sycophant, okay? No one likes a kiss ass.
But what I'm saying is, we need someone like him after he graduates, because if we don't have that kind of creative direction, like that's huge for like advertising,
Yeah.
right? You need like media and content, and if we don't have something like that coming out after, you know,
And you got to be able to look at the right people too, because you guys do have resources at UT where you can communicate with different people in different departments, and I think it's very important that you guys utilize those resources and find people that they might not care about gaming, but they might care about content creation and
Yeah,
getting them
exactly.
involved.
building their own portfolio.
Yeah,
you know?
and I mean that's a big piece of it, because at that point in life they kind of are willing to do it for free, which is great.
right.
I think you guys are about to head over to a panel.
Yeah, I've got a couple questions before though.
Okay. Well,
Okay,
go ahead.
so is that something you're interested in running for the role of president?
It's something I've talked about before. I know some people have like mentioned it to me, but like it's not my main focus right now. Right now, I just want to get into the scene more, like officially. Like my dream is like getting into like League of Legends, like management and that kind of stuff. So,
Okay.
Uh,
So from like I asked off camera before I got a mic about the adoption of esports in general into some sort of collegiate pro level. What about so coaches currently are students?
Yes, everybody is a student just volunteering their time for a student organization.
Is there any opportunity for coaches to be outsourced and come from the industry?
I think that's going to be at our next meeting. Once we're actually proposing our constitution, like how we run as a student organization, and we're going to basically improve that and say, here's what we want to the administrators that don't understand esports or how esports orgs or esports clubs work. And that's something that we're going to put in.
Is there some other sort of traditional sport that you're going to model that after inside of the collegiate system?
I don't think that there's something in particular. Probably just like looking at the nearby schools and how they run their esports programs.
How they run
more
their
than-
esports?
Yeah.
Does anybody in nearby schools have any sort of outsourced coaching, staffing, people that are,
UTD,
pro?
right?
I mean, they do have their paid probably two positions, I think, that they're having for UTD, I'm thinking of. I don't know of outsourcing in the nearby area. Do you know of anybody besides like X Special from
Right.
Columbia?
I know UC Irvine, the basically premier team for especially League of Legends. That's really where I'm focused. So that's what I know the most about.
Yeah.
They basically have like outsourced people who like came in from actual industry and are coming back, you know, to play.
They're just
and,
remote coaching
coach as
or
well, exactly.
remote analysts and stuff like that.
I mean, something we actually have done with the league team is for our A team last year, we had esports psychologist. She was basically trying to get in training and needed hours, and we took her from outside. She was willing to do it for free for us, so that was a
That's
really
awesome.
Yeah, that's
it was an
something
awesome
I think that a
experience.
lot of people, especially in the Austin area, if there was, good grassroots, organic, marketing towards people that are currently in the industry in Austin, whether that's game developers or publishers or whoever, they would highly want to get invested into some sort of booster program or something like that surrounding Longhorn Gaming, especially people of the alma mater.
I'm thinking actually of like we have a lot of alumni that are
Alumni.
working for Riot that
was
have
gonna
went
say
pro.
Blizzard,
Yeah.
Sarah's
I mean,
going to Gen G, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, like if you guys
yeah.
know who Kiwi Kid is, he was part of Tespa. He was an ex, pro
yeah,
from
he
League of
was on
Legends.
Dignitas, yeah. He's a pretty popular guy.
Yeah.
so-
Absolutely. And I guess then, closing out this interview, and my last question is, for somebody like yourself who was building an org inside of their high school, how can they apply to get? Is there some sort of sponsorship program or some sort of way for them to apply to get into the org before they even do their application for the state of Texas or the Texas entrance exams or whatever they are? Yeah.
SATs.
No. I'm talking about the
Application for UT itself.
Yeah. Whatever that. I can't remember
Apply
what it's
Texas
called.
is what it's
Apply
called.
Texas.
Yeah,
That's what I
exactly.
mean. Yeah.
So one thing right now is we can't actually offer anything to them other than you have to obviously get into UT Austin to
Yeah.
be part of Longhorn Gaming.
Yeah.
But we actually had a guy. He's going to CU Boulder. His name is Joshua Sharp. He goes to I was actually working with him in high school as well.
Okay.
And he came to one of our big LAN events at the end of this year, and he was really interested and just wanted to see how it worked at a collegiate level. So, like, even if you can't, even if we necessarily can't help you get into like UT Austin, we can help you like learn what it's like at the collegiate level. You can just we're accepting anyone.
So that's interesting. And what is the scouting like? And what with
That's
scouting?
not in yet. I mean, they're not. They still have to form, a varsity team before they can go that direction, right?
Well,
I
maybe.
am going so hard right now scouting for the best league talent we can find. You have no idea. If anyone's watching this and you're going to UT Austin or you go to UT Austin
Or
and you want to
any
play
college
League of
that can
Legends or
transfer.
any other game, please talk to me. Just get involved.
Also, so this is actually a good segue to plugging in personal social
Socials.
media or any way to get in touch with people. So, what's a good way to reach out to you?
So I'm really active on Twitter and Discord, but Twitter is probably the best way to get in touch with me, at CrusherCake.
Or you can just add our org Twitter,
Right.
Longhorn_Gaming.
Yeah,
So
exactly. That's
Do you guys
better.
have UT emails?
Those
you
are
check
really
those?
long and convoluted. I wouldn't.
Oh, they're
suggest-
long.
yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay.
our school or like our org email is just like a really long Gmail.
Okay.
The best way to probably just look us up is to look us up on Facebook because we have a ton of Facebook members in our
Longhorn Gaming
Facebook
is huge
group.
on Facebook.
Yep. Or just Google it. You'll find our website or our Facebook page might be the first thing that pops up.
Yeah, I think Twitter last time I saw.
Yeah, yeah.
was the
So
first
one
thing,
of them.
So
And
yeah, we're
just
pretty
reach
active
out,
on there.
DM us. Our DMs are open.
Exactly. Yeah, we're always checking that stuff.
Slide in their DMs. Thank you guys for joining us. Again, we're here at DreamHack Dallas with Cyber Media. My name is Daniel from Constantine Media. Best way to reach out to me is on Twitter at Danijel Leiner, DANIJEL LEINER. Thank you for joining us. Cool, guys.